KREM 2 News 10 at 10 begins now with Mark Hanrahan and Jeremy Legoo.
Good evening and thank you for joining us for KREM 2 News 10 at 10, where we give you more news in less time. Let's get started. First up tonight, changes could be coming to high school sports in Washington, specifically for transgender athletes. The Washington Interscholastic Activities Association just released proposed amendments it received this year, including 2 that could impact transgender athletes. KREM 2's Cody Proctor has been digging into the proposed amendment. She joins us live tonight with more. Cody?
Well, Mark, most of the 16 proposals came from school districts all across Washington state to the WIAA. 2 hot button proposals have support from schools that are right here in our region.
The topic of transgender athletes competing against girls and women is one gaining national attention, including here at last year's state track and field championship in Washington, when a transgender athlete won the state title in the girls' 400-meter race. The win sparked criticism. The current WIAA handbook says students can compete in the sports consistent with their gender identity. 2 new proposed amendments could change that. The first touches on having participation in girls' sports be limited to students assigned female at birth. Some of the school districts that submitted this proposal included Meade, Colville, and Omak school districts. The Meade School District even passed their own resolution back in October.
All in favor, say aye.
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 Barring transgender female athletes from competing in girls' sports. The other proposal would set up a separate open division for transgender athletes. It says students wanting to play sports according to their gender identity would compete in the open division if it's different from the one they were born as. The same would go for transitioning athletes who've gone through medical changes. Both Meade and Eastmont school districts were 2 of the school districts that submitted this proposal. KREM 2 spoke with Eastmont Superintendent Becky Berg back in October. She says the proposal doesn't come from a place of hate, but from inclusion.
The intent of it is to record their time or distances or efforts a little bit differently than the traditional born at birth female.
Now, these are only proposed amendments. The WIAA's Representative Assembly will hash out specific language and content of each amendment in late January. They'll then vote on the proposals in April.
Now, according to the WIAA, an amendment needs 60% of the votes in the Representative Assembly to pass. For these 2 amendments in particular, that equals to 32 votes. In the studio, Cody Proctor, KREM 2 News.
All right, Cody, thank you very much. Tonight, the man accused of firing more than 40 rounds into traffic along I-90 last night sits behind bars facing several charges. 23-year-old Wyatt Armstrong is charged with unlawful discharge of a firearm, DUI, and exhibition or use of a deadly weapon. Idaho State Police say he parked in the median near state line, shooting at passing cars. Court records show Armstrong also appeared to be drunk and blew a .13 on the breathalyzer.
We came out to check it out, and you could hear the cops yelling for someone to surrender, the dogs barking, him yelling back.
He fired a total of 40 to 41 rounds, striking at least one other vehicle and his own.
Investigators say at least 1 semi-truck was hit by a round, but no one was hurt. Armstrong's bond is set at $500,000. Well, new video out of California tonight shows just how close a massive wildfire is burning near Pepperdine University in Malibu. The Franklin fire has already scorched more than 2,600 acres since it began late last night. Classes and finals were canceled at Pepperdine as students are sheltering in place. The wind-driven fire is threatening thousands of homes and other structures in that area.
Because of the great work of the firefighters that were on scene, we have only a minimal number of homes destroyed. Thankfully, we have no reports of serious injuries or fatalities. This fire is not contained, and we remain under an immediate threat because of the red flag conditions.
More than 2,000 residents have been ordered to evacuate. The cause of the fire is still unknown tonight. All right, switching gears, let's take a first look at the forecast with Chief Meteorologist Jeremy Legoo. Jeremy, we've been stuck in this pattern of just kind of being socked in, although I read something tonight. In just about 2 weeks from now, we'll start seeing more daylight hours, right? More daylight as we, I guess, progress into the night, if I'm stating that correctly.
That's what happens after the solstice, yes.
I know, yeah, but it's something to look forward to.
Oh,
right.
Yeah, I mean, if that's what you want to look forward to. Look at this hair. It's just everywhere. There we go. Solved it. Yeah, I didn't want calls, so I took care of it now. I don't know if some of you know this, but in the past, I had an unruly single hair back here, and we got about 30 phone calls telling me I had an alfalfa hair, so thank you very much. Temperatures down below freezing and a bit of patchy freezing fog. Airway Heights still socked in, rest of us looking pretty good. Low-hanging stratus cloud over us here in Spokane. Looks pretty cool if you're looking up at some of those tower lights. They just kind of shine through it. But with temperatures down below freezing, if you had wet roads from some of that fog earlier today, tomorrow morning likely winds up slick. Here in downtown and much of the South Hill and even the north side of town as I was driving around today, the roads were dry, so we don't have anything to worry about. A big ridge of high pressure overhead, but it's getting a little bit dirty. Dirty means we wind up with a little more cloud cover in the coming days. Tomorrow, cloudy. Thursday, cloudy with the chance of a couple of snow flurries in the evening. Wintry mix on Friday.
All right, sounds good, Jeremy. I'll check back in with you later in the show. And now to our night beat with a quick look at today's top stories. A federal judge has blocked the largest supermarket merger in history. The ruling means the Kroger-Albertsons deal is now on hold. In 2022, Kroger has proposed a $25 billion purchase of Albertsons. Since the announcement, that merger has been strongly opposed by consumer groups who are concerned about potential store closures and increasing prices. The FTC sued to block the deal in February, and several states, including Washington, challenged the merger. One of those leading the opposition has been Washington Attorney General and Governor-elect Bob Ferguson, who says that merger would harm consumers.
I conclude that Washington's Consumer Protection Act prohibits the proposed merger of Kroger and Albertsons because the effect of that merger may be to substantially lessen competition in Washington.
Also today, a Washington court ruled that the state's Consumer Protection Act prohibits the merger from happening. The FTC, Kroger, and Albertsons did not respond to requests for comments on today's ruling. The challenge of Idaho's strict abortion ban that reached the Supreme Court returned to a federal appeals court today. The court heard arguments on the Biden administration's claims that federally funded hospitals must provide abortions when pregnancy complications jeopardize a woman's life or health, even in states that ban abortion. It's not clear when the court will issue its ruling. Idaho's abortion ban has been partially blocked and reinstated several times now. Some of the production lines back up and running at Boeing tonight. The company says it has resumed production of the 737. Just last month, the company reached a deal with machinists after a weeks-long strike. Those workers then needed to be recertified before going back to work because of how long they were off the production lines. The FAA says it is monitoring Boeing as it ramps up production once again. As of November 30th, the company said it had more than 6,200 unfilled orders, mostly 737s. Boeing delivered 13 planes in November. All but 4 were 737s.
Luigi, did you do it? And it's completely unjust and an insult to the intelligence of the American people and its lived experience.
A suspect accused of shooting and killing the United Healthcare CEO shouted to reporters outside a Pennsylvania courthouse today as he was led inside to face extradition to New York. 26-year-old Luigi Mangione is facing murder charges in connection with that brazen shooting death of Brian Thompson in the middle of New York City. Mangione's felony arrest warrants mention written admissions about the crime found with the defendant. Mangione allegedly wrote that the U.S. has, quote, the most expensive healthcare system in the world, but ranks 42nd in life expectancy. Mangione pleaded not guilty to the charges. His attorney spoke to the media this afternoon, saying he hasn't seen any evidence that says that he's the shooter.
Oh, yeah, we pled not guilty, at least to the charges in Pennsylvania. Like I said, I'm not aware of any actual charges in New York. If you were in the hearing earlier, there was a proceeding where they introduced some documents, which, as I complained about, didn't have enough information for me. So we're looking forward to getting that additional information.
Mangione was denied bail, and he is contesting extradition to New York. And that was your Night Beat. To learn more about any of these stories, just head to our website. That's KREM.com. New tonight, Oregon may be home to a new national monument. The Oahe Canyonlands is a 1 million-acre land area in a remote part of eastern Washington. The state's governor is asking President Biden to declare it a national monument. The executive director of the Oregon Natural Desert Association says they have been trying to secure permanent protection since the 1920s. He says the push for protection aims to prevent industrial development and mining. And that was your KREM 2 News 10 at 10, where you get more news in less time. But